Somewhere on a mountain, worshipped by millions as a goddess, there is a piece of American nuclear fuel that has never been found. In October 1965, at nearly 7,000 meters on the flank of a Himalayan peak, a team of climbers made a decision that no one has ever been able to undo. They lashed a nuclear device to the mountain and walked away. The mountain was Nanda Devi, the highest peak that lies entirely inside India. To millions of Hindus, it is more than rock and ice. It is a goddess. And the men on its slopes that autumn were not ordinary mountaineers. They were working for two intelligence agencies at once, the American CIA and India's Intelligence Bureau. The reason sat 1,000 kilometers to the northeast. In October 1964, China had detonated its first atomic bomb at Lop Nur. Washington needed to know how fast the Chinese program was moving. And in 1965, spy satellites were still crude, and no radar could see across the Himalaya. So planners settled on an idea that sounds invented, but survives in declassified files and in the memoirs of the men who carried it out. Build a listening station near the top of one of the highest mountains on Earth. Point its antennas at the Chinese test ranges. And because no battery could survive a Himalayan winter, power it with plutonium. The power unit was a radioisotope generator, a stack of plutonium capsules whose own decay produced heat and electricity. No fuel deliveries, no maintenance. Designed to run for decades, untouched. The Indian side of the expedition was led by Captain Manmohan Singh Kohli, one of the most experienced climbers his country had. His men and their Sherpa porters carried the generator, the antennas, and the sensors up the mountain in pieces. Some of them later said the plutonium unit stayed warm to the touch through its casing, even in the snow. They nearly made it. Late in October 1965, below the summit, the weather turned. A storm closed the route. Pressing on meant losing men to the mountain. Kohli made the only sane call available to him. Secure the equipment on a sheltered ledge, rope it to the rock, and come back for it in the spring. When the climbers returned in 1966, they went to the same ledge. It was not there. The face had changed. Snow, ice, and rock had moved through the site over the winter, the way they have moved across Nanda Devi for thousands of years. The station, the generator, and the plutonium inside it had vanished into the mountain. What followed was one of the stranger search operations of the Cold War. Season after season, expeditions went back up under cover stories, carrying radiation detectors across the slopes and the glacier below. They swept, they probed, they found nothing. The device had gone into a body of moving ice and rubble that has swallowed whole aircraft, and it had simply been absorbed. The program itself did not stop. In 1967, a second nuclear-powered station was carried up a neighboring peak, Nanda Kot. This one worked. For a few months, real intelligence flowed, before its own heat melted a pit deep into the surrounding ice and buried it. Climbers went back, dug it out, and flew it off the mountain. Unlike Nanda Devi, Nanda Kot gave its device back. Which leaves this story with an uncomfortable shape. The operation succeeded, only the mountain kept a piece of it. For 13 years, almost no one knew. Then, in 1978, an American magazine published the story, and in India the reaction was immediate and furious. The government could not deny it. Prime Minister Morarji Desai stood before Parliament and confirmed that the operation had taken place. That somewhere on the sacred mountain a foreign-built plutonium generator was missing. It remains one of the very few occasions in history when a state has publicly admitted losing nuclear material inside its own borders and being unable to retrieve it. And the reason the story has never gone quiet sits at the foot of the mountain. Nanda Devi's snows and glaciers drain into the Rishi Ganga, and from there toward the headwaters of the Ganges, a river that hundreds of millions of people drink from, bathe in, and pray beside. The plutonium is sealed in capsules engineered to survive fire and impact. But they were engineered for a working lifetime measured in decades. They have now been inside a moving glacier for 60 years. Scientists have periodically sampled water and sediment downstream. No public study has confirmed contamination from the device. That is the honest state of the evidence. No confirmed leak and no recovered generator. Both of those things are true at once. In 1983, India closed the Nanda Devi sanctuary to climbers, citing the damage that decades of expeditions had done to a fragile place. The inner sanctuary remains closed today. The goddess, as the local saying goes, was given back her privacy. Which means the last known facts of this story are these. Somewhere inside one of the most beautiful and most restricted mountain sanctuaries on Earth, under 60 winters of snow, there is a Cold War listening station with a plutonium heart. The men who left it there are almost all gone. The files that describe it are public. The device itself has never been seen again. The mountain took it. And for 60 years, the mountain has said nothing.